versus Kennedy. Two real hard inside players.
Yeah, it's interesting at selection, wasn't it? The return of Tuck.
Yep.
You can certainly understand it against a side like the Swans. Here's O'Keefe with the inside-out tour. Tippett just a little off the mark. And Chaplin had position and used it well.
Well, been under fire three times, in fact, now, the Tigers, and each time they've repelled it pretty well. And here's Rance putting the ball into space for Newman.
Out on the wing. Was able to work it over Melchesky. Didn't do any favours for White, who just lost his footing but was able to win the footy. Kept it in. Clever play. It was touched, but doesn't matter. Alistair White, he's kicked one long running goal. Adrenaline pumping deep to Vickery. Oh, Sticky Vicky there, Jared. As you mentioned, Sticky Vickery today, it was very important.
So what happened there? McVeigh got caught on Vickery there too, Jared. So there was a bit of a mismatch, and it was identified with a nice kick in.
Big news down here, Roosie. Melchesky's just gone down the rooms. Looks like that shoulder.
Wow, what a start for the Tigers.
The Tigers.
And there's plenty of it at the moment. Chaplin as they ring around the 50. Up and under from Tuck. Didn't gain much ground. Mumford, that's a great read. He wanted to get it moving as quick as he could. This is Jed Lamb, who had a career best 19 last week. Was so impressive. Parker cutting back through the middle of the Swans, perhaps. Kennedy sets it to centre half forward, and Brandon Jack.
And his brother, Kieran, was right beside him. He'll probably end up with this, although Brandon looks like he's having a ping.
He's having a long kick anyway. Will it be a goal? It will be, and went all the way. Terrific start for the young man. Now.
Go back to the review. Take the time. Yep. Seems he's there. Umpire's call. Score review. Umpire's call is a goal. Please check that it wasn't touched. Cheers. Go, Stewie, go.
Well, Brandon believes it's a goal because he's already run from the ground. Let's take another look. There's been a couple of these throughout the weekend that have just been classic time wasters.
Kurt Tippett's got him in the nice reverse lock there, so he's done a pretty nice job. But it's actually good effort by Tippett to sort of shepherd it through with both arms up.
Almost did touch, didn't he?
Looks like it went straight through fresh air.
Yeah. Through the gap. Fora. Goal. Met with approval.
And you touched on it. That's classic Swans, Hutto. You touched on observing the early pressure, absorbing the early pressure, Jared, and then going back and kicking a goal. The difficulty with the Swans half forwards is they do get up and back, so you've got to be careful you don't get over the top here, but they also lead back in, as Jack has done here. So Morris has got to be careful that Brandon Jack doesn't get over the top, but you also got to be careful that short lead up hit target, and that's a really nice finish from outside 50.
And that's where it started from, the chain from the Sydney Swans, some run, a kick, and then a long shot at goal from Brandon Jack gets the Swans on the board.
Well, it's Richmond heading forward, although Nick Smith and McVeigh are changing that as we speak.
There's the sweeper, Hutto, as expected, but not a great kick and well read by Rance.
Tuck two, prepared to handball back to Morris now. The Swans are swarming. Look at the options for Hanbury. To Lamb first, and then a little kick into the middle of nowhere, really, as far as the Swans were concerned. Pettard couldn't get it on the boot quick enough. He was trying to find Foley. Gets through to Delidio with the advantage. The advantage is considerable. Revo had different ideas to Delidio. Used Martin. There's a vacant square. He knew it, and the footy went right in the middle of it and through for another rolling goal. So to keep the hands free to Parker to see if he get a handball, but it's by foot. They can do some more damage here. Committed to go. He doesn't know any other way, Brandon Jack. And the benefits now on display for all to see, because it meant that Tippett, who had that little bit of space, was able to preserve the advantage on Chaplin.
Well, it was a good inside kick, and he opens up the angle.
And got it perfectly.
And that's what they've got to be careful of, Joe. Just getting on the counter-attack. That one of the forwards, I don't know who it was, but didn't slide up and cover the middle of the ground there. It was Luke Parker running through the middle, and then didn't cover Brandon Jack as well. That's the half forward coming way up the ground. That's a nice kick over the top to Tippett.
And that's a good use of the J-curve when you're able to get balanced and open up the angle, as he did there.
And there's the unbroken chain, and that's just that little kick, change of direction. I think it was Jude Bolton going back into Luke Parker, really changed the angle. So Tigers mids have got to be on their mettle when the Swans get the ball even deep down back.
Touch, you heard the call. Great
Good
start
decision.
from Brandon Jack, who's had a goal and he's played a big part in another. And they're surging, and this is Kieran Jack, careful with the kick. Good target, Jesse White. And has played he has played his best football ever for the Swans this season.
All started off that half-back line with Andreas Everett coming forward. He heard the touch call. He didn't try and take possession. He would have been barreled. He just kicked the ball out of fresh air and got it forward. And then you saw Kieran Jack just running so hard. Distance no issue here, you wouldn't think.
He certainly looks a footballer in size and athleticism, and he's showing this year that he can be a footballer at the top level.
Up the field, and at the moment it is pretty much a one-on-one game. We're seeing Smith would normally not do that, not follow his man, but that's a clear instruction. Brandon Jack just missed a handball here. Tommy Mitchell's getting involved. He's had 7 disposals, but we wouldn't often see Nick Smith in that part of the ground. Nice hands here from Tom Mitchell, and a nice finish from Nick Smith.
Strongly challenged the Sydney Swans. And they've hit back in emphatic style with 3 goals in a row to take a 5-point advantage. Harwich up early. Mumford, when it mattered, got it through O'Keefe's hands. Could have been some holding on there with the Tigers. Hanbury scooped it up to Grundy. Now they can go hard the other way. Rampy led the charge. Hanbury joins in. Quick, crisp kick to the diving Parker.
Score play on.
Okay, not paid, so now it's a ball up. Parker argues the case.
And Damien Hardwick's responded by putting Vickery behind the ball, Jared. So looks like they're playing with one less forward, and which will mean it's going to be hard for them to score, because the Swans are very good at freeing up a defender. That might be a McVeigh or Malcheski or even a Tall to help out on Rewall.
Richards and O'Keefe and Jack. Tippett has it in his sights. He was competing in the end with Luke Parker, who feels like he's owed one by the umpire.
Interesting choice of player to put behind the ball there. You see Ty Vickery. Obviously, you can do the ruck work, which allows Marrick to play further up the ground. But Marrick's coming down, and Vickery goes about 15 metres out from goal. But often normally that role is given to a mid-sized player, not your ruckman.
O'Keefe. And White again is just too physically strong.
On that was terrible positioning, Jared. Good call, because that was shocking positioning from Tyrone Vickery. He's actually left. He's gone to the wrong side of that contest. A quick kick comes out. He's got to be working with his key defender, and he just was all at sea there, sitting back. Quick kick comes out of the stoppage. That's the classic one that Vickery's got to gobble up and make it 2 versus 1.
Took 3 contested marks last week, Jesse White. He's made an outstanding start here. Tests the goal umpire, but it's through. That's 4 in a row now. Malcheski. Jesse White decided to paddle it down, and smart play.
Did that well.
And it really opens things up now for Kieran Jack. Collects the thoughts, and well, it didn't really do much for Brandon Jack. And there's Alex Richmond. Pretty easy one across half back.
Yeah, this is a good kick. Open up the Swans here. They're just off the bit at the present time. There's an opportunity to get a couple of goals.
Just held them up in their tracks for a moment there, so no clean break, but that's a beautiful kick. And Revolt, who came just at the right moment, couldn't help but take the mark.
Well, the 2 speedsters have got the ball, and that's one Foley and the other one was Matthew White. It was a nice entry. They controlled the ball across that half-back line, got somebody forward, centred it, and set Jack Rewald up, who led really well from 15 metres out from the square.
So 2 goals, 2 for Jack Rewald. This is for his 50th goal of the season. But that matters not. What matters right now is that Richmond need to put consecutive goals on the board. It's a little purple patch here for the Tigers.
Just what they needed, Roosie, a couple of consecutive goals and get a bit of belief back to make those legs start running again.
Yeah, some good changes at half-time. Rewall going deep. Trying a few times, you got some real space inside your forward 50. Terrific lead up the middle of the ground. We've seen Foley and White with speed coming off the back, which has been really, really important. So some nice adjustments from Damien Hardwick and his coaching group at half-time, which has allowed them to get back within 10 points.
50 goals for Jack Rewalt for the season. And Richmond, more importantly, trail now by just 10 points.
Would Ted Richards prefer to play at centre half back or the deepest defender? It would appear as if...
Yeah, it's centre half. I mean, he's more of a traditional centre half back, but I don't think anyone likes to play at full-back, Jared, if you had the choice.
Edwards the handball, Mumford though. Now McVeigh kept them guessing, kicks to centre half forward. Jack takes the mark. A couple of tall, big bodies deep. Could have gone for Pike. Pike will get there and does mark.
And the runner straight out to Brandon Ellis. Yeah, and I suspect he's saying you've got to stay with McVeigh. He's the sweeper. He's been the one who has been able to get off the chain here, and this is what results.
Very rarely, Jared, do they have 3 goals in succession kicked against them, the Sydney Swans. The average, they're the best in the comp, averaging just 1 a week, and this will stop the bleeding from what Richmond have put to them in the last 10 minutes.
Once again, it's over to Mike Pike. He's been a terrific goal kicker for the Swans this year. That's his 20th goal for the season.
Yeah, that's just classic Sydney Swans football. They work back, couple of tackles, secure the football. There it is here. Just a kick here. You got a tackle there by Malcheski. Then you got quick handball, and this is just classic Swans football. And then some really hard running from their midfield. I don't know why Hawley goes to ground there. Just again, those little mistakes. Jack runs past. Is that Deledio? And a really, really nice finish.
Running power of the Sydney Swans, led by that man, Kieran Jack.
You know what you want to see when you're playing the Sydney Swans? You want to see one of your midfielders run one of the Swans midfielders down from behind.
Yep.
And if you could get 2 or 3 of those tackles, all the better. But it's just a significant sign that you are in the contest.
Jackson, Weaver, Vickery both there. Weaver looking for some high contact. That's not the way the umpire reads it.
I think it's a good point, Joe, because you'll see the Swans midfielders running the other team down, and that's when we talk about two-way running midfielders. The Swans are two-way running midfielders, one of the very few in the competition. And to take the next step, guys like, I think Cochin's actually not bad at it. Cochin actually does it quite well. But guys like Deledio, Martin, etc., they need to be the ones that are running the opposition mids down. Like Kieran Jack there, that would have been a good sign. Someone from Richmond runs him down when he runs into goals, because that'll happen the other end with the Swans players.
Harwich crashing the pack. But Pike the first to recover. Parker smothered. Back forward, you could hear the call, and Jack was quick to respond. Up bouncing around to the wing. McVeigh interfered with.
The one thing that it's showing to me, Jared, is the gap's not that big. We're talking about a 22-point margin at the moment. Richmond are right in this game. They can keep the belief and keep the faith. Rewald's starting to get some form. Their speed's still impacting. They're right in this game. Yeah, I'm with you, Kingy. I think that they're not that far off, but they need their best players to start playing at their best. Too many of their guns, their ball spreaders, if you like, or their ball architects like Newman off half-back or the wing Deledio, both of whom haven't touched the ball in this quarter. They've got to get hot.
Oh, and it falls for Jesse White, and he's confident now. Runs it in and kicks behind.
He could have given a little handball over to Ryan O'Keefe there too. So one of the mistake from Jesse White. Oh, it's a fine line there, I guess. You know, you're running into open goal and
just clipped the post, did it?
I don't know, did it?
Must have.
It was a bit hard to tell from that. Come back to it because the Swans had a little opening there. Smart play from Dustin Martin. Now Boston had to dig deep. Again, that effort from Jack was wonderful, but Richmond are able to control. Martin's right in the thick of things at the moment. Away they come. Grigg to half forward. Jackson had to hold on for dear life, then decided just to be idle for a moment. Didn't want to rush things. Nothing he liked. Had to handball down low for Conker. Back to goal here, so hard to adjust for Foley. Was able to just sneak it through towards Edwards. The moment's passed for the Tigers. A quick look, let's see if we can see any postage here.
Here's a chance for the Tigers here, as we see. They must have clipped the post. Here's a chance for the Tigers. They've got to take advantage of these stoppages. There's some dangerous players here. I mean, Swans are quite disciplined, but you've got to make guys like Edwards, who hasn't been heavily involved in the game, small forward, dangerous players got to start to get involved.
Chesky, Bolton knew he had to react quickly. He did. Everett to Pike.
Much better from Delidio there, Roosie. That's the run from behind, the tackle, and then the hand out. He's not starring at the moment, but he's still contributing in that area. That's forward 50. He needs a lift from everybody else.
What about at full
in the
forward?
team.
What about Delidio going to full forward, boys, and see if he can actually have 3 or 4 meaningful possessions?
Well, I reckon Jack Rewald's working there, Kingy. I wouldn't change that one, but across that half-back line or in and around the ball, I think that the full forward spot's the one they've got covered.
Oh, Rewald, so close. Grundy. And Jack saw and doesn't want to get up right now.
Got to press this one up now. The Swans are away early, but they've got to cause a turnover.
Bit of a standoff. Nick Smith forced onto the right. High ball. Rance. Pike almost drags it down. Slapping it forward and again. Jack's off and running. Gathering it up. Charging forward. Jesse White leads back up at the footy. And he can give if he wants. He's got Swans left and Swans right.
Oh, this is not good, Roosie.
They had McVeigh running in.
This is not good. You've got to get back and you've got to have a look. And Mark McVeigh, he's got to let him have a shot now.
Yeah, he's not happy.
Give the sermon later on.
Yeah.
He's got to kick the goal now, Jared. That's it. Simple as it is.
Now Jesse White, he's a big, big man with a powerful kick. And it was never in doubt. Or was it?
It's a goal.
I think it's a goal.
It's in doubt according to the captain.
Cross the line for a goal. Can you just check? Yeah, I thought so.
Score review, please. Goal umpire believes it's a goal. Just want to check that it's not touched. Inside of line. Ball hit him.
Seriously, Roosie, that's what the goal umpire gets paid to do.
Yeah, no, you're
He's
right.
got the best spot. He's got a much better spot than any camera. Get beside the line and tell us whether or not it's a goal. Back yourself in. The umpire's been doing it for 100 years.
It's great vision, that.
I'll tell you, wasn't a super effort from Marek. I don't know whether he could have touched it, but
You're both holding in. It's a contest, Jack. You find out. It's a contest. Because you're back both swinging on each other, swinging around. Yeah.
Review completed. Umpire's call.
All 3 goals.
You want, Jared, do you think?
I think it's not a bad option.
I think they
it's
did
happened
last year from
beforehand,
memory,
yeah.
didn't they? Yeah.
Yeah, they had the big one against the Hawks up here, didn't they? And they had Geelong, they went down to Skilled Stadium, Simmons Stadium, as Martin pokes it in.
They've done that a little bit better in the last quarter, Jared. Just a few little nice, lower their eyes kicks inside 50 that'll put a bit more pressure on the Swans defence. And I think Kingy touched on it before. They'll learn a lot from this game. They'll go over this tape, the coaching staff. As I said, they've done a lot of things right, but just to be the absolute best team in the competition, they've still got a fair way to go, and they would know that.
Daniel Jackson kept up with his season average of around 22 disposals. Missed a shot earlier, and this time he's on the mark.
And they slot this bloke in that they took a punt on 2 or 3 years ago. They started him up the forward line, didn't quite work. And they pushed him into the back half. And he is now enjoying probably his best year to date, Roosie.
He's in outstanding form, isn't he? His last 5 or 6 weeks. But that's just scary when you see a guy who we don't talk a lot about all of a sudden explodes through the middle of the ground, and we can see it here. And then great vision. I thought he was actually going to have a shot at goal and he was going to burn Jude Bolton. But
that was the best thing about it.
yeah,
He
absolutely.
still had the composure.
Composure at the end of it to hit Jude Bolton, and then Jude nearly played on and kicked one around the corner. So just you can see the talent level that he's got.
So bring on September. We have got at least three sensational teams, and this Sydney Swans side is definitely one of them. A 47-point reminder to a top 8 side here at the SCG. Such a wonderful combination, a powerful midfield. They've kicked 16, 14, 110 to defeat Richmond 9-9, 63. These guys are good, Jared.